Hi, and welcome to the MicroStrategy tutorial and overview brought to you by BusinessIntelligence.com. We'll be going over MicroStrategy Business Intelligence, looking at the MicroStrategy Desktop, MicroStrategy Web, and MicroStrategy Office, giving you an overview of the capabilities and the ways you'll work with the reports. So looking a little bit at the back end and then at the front end. Right now what you'll see is the MicroStrategy Desktop, and this is the main administration area of the application. This is where you'll build your objects against your data warehouse, do your administration of users and jobs on the back end, and basically build the reporting structure that your end users will need to build their reports, view data, and so on. So MicroStrategy actually ships with a tutorial project which I have open right now called MicroStrategy Tutorial, and you can see that it's broken out into a couple different areas: Project Builder, Public Objects, Schema Objects. So if we look under Schema Objects, what this does is show you objects that are built in the schema, which are things like attributes, facts, tables, which are the tables within your data warehouse, and so on. So your attributes and facts are the basic building blocks of the reporting environment. You'll see if I go into facts that you'll see many different calculated items. These are your basic numerical type things that'll go in reports. Your revenues, counts, inventory, things like that that need to be calculated and manipulated numerically are all sorted as facts. Now, under your attributes, these are your dimensions in terms of other BI parlance. So you've got things like customers, geography, for example. You've got various attributes to allow for reporting levels within your reports. So you've got things like region, countries, call centers. So all different ways to organize your data. So these are all built on the back end against your data warehouse. And that's one of the strengths of MicroStrategy, is this unified metadata that allows for kind of a base reporting structure, so you can reuse objects in and out of reports without recreating the wheel every time you want a specific view. So with these objects, the next step is to create reports, and the MicroStrategy tutorial also comes with some built-in reports. We'll take a look at them within the web environment, but just to give you an idea of some of the reports that you can get, you've got things like dashboards, enterprise reports, subject area type reports, which would be things like sales, financial, customer analysis, and so on. Okay, and so with those reports, you'll have also the ability to create things like prompts, which are basically questions that can be answered by the software. So users can put specific objects on their reports, and filters to further limit down your information. Okay, so that's the MicroStrategy desktop. What I'm going to do now is jump over to our MicroStrategy web, and this is the web browser-based interface for MicroStrategy. And if we compare this to our desktop, that's really going to be where the web, I should say, is going to be where about 80% of your information and reporting is going to be done. It's easy to push out. It's all again browser-based, Firefox or IE, so very much easier to use versus the desktop, which is a typical client-server type installation and requires a Windows. Okay, so MicroStrategy tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and open that and log in. This will take me to the main page within MicroStrategy Web. And you can see that I've got several areas where I can see my shared reports, my reports, a history list of reports, my subscriptions, and so on. You also have the ability to create your own reports, documents, which would be things like include things like scorecards and dashboards, prompts, and filters. So for right now, I'm just going to go to our shared reports. And I'm going to go into our subject areas. And I'm going to bring up one of our sales and profitability analysis. And I'm going to go ahead and go to our category sales report. Okay, so this is going to go against the database. And it looks like it's just, going out and getting the information against the database. So the MicroStrategy architecture is going to have a couple different areas. It's going to be the web, the desktop that you saw for administration, and then the back end there's going to be a web server and information server. So the information server is actually what's calculating all of this against the data warehouse and then pushing that to your web environment so that you can view it, export it out, and basically interact with it. Okay, so here we go. We've got our report run, and this is just a pretty simple report just to give you an idea of the kind of information that you can pull out from MicroStrategy. Just a report looking at profit, sales, profit forecast, and revenue forecast for a category of items. So we can look at books, electronics, movies, and so on. Across months, subcategories, and over on the right are our metrics. So that's looking back at our MicroStrategy desktop, those would be things like those facts that we were pulling in, and then these are our attributes. So the page by, we can easily jump into another category and have our report update on the fly. We can also move our columns around to reorganize. We can sort by any one of the columns. Okay, we can move data to the page by to look at just data by month. So a lot of drag and drop abilities that can be pushed into the report all come onto the web. I can also go and drill down into a month, and again, this is just a setting within the reports to allow for drill down, and you can see I can drill down and take a look at all the October data here. Okay. And I can move from report. I can move our month up to here. Move our categories back down. So just doing some basic report manipulation. Go ahead and move this to again, very easy to move some data around into. I'm going to go ahead and move this to our rows here. And let me go ahead and move and leave that as is. Okay, go back to date. So once you've got a report, a couple different options for working within it. You can do it within MicroStrategy here. You can also export it out as PDF, Excel, and so on. So you can work with it in another environment. And so very straightforward. So what I'll do now is go ahead and go back to our home screen and say create report, say blank report, and just show you basically how you can build a report using those built-in attributes. So let's say I want to look at something region, employee. I'm going to look at metrics. I'm going to look at profit per employee, total revenue by employee. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's run it. And again, I'm just dragging and dropping those attributes, and I just want to get a sense of revenue per employee, profit per employee, and just taking those objects that have already been created, I can, on the fly, create a report and work with it right within the MicroStrategy environment. So again, the power of having that centralized metadata. But MicroStrategy is a lot more than just basic reports. I'm going to jump back to our home screen, and I'm going to take a look again at some of our dashboards so you can see some of the I'm going to go ahead and go to category sales so you can see a dashboard in action. So again, dashboards are going to take underlying reports like we just saw and basically put it into a dashboard or scorecard format that's more interactive, and you'll see that here. I've got our categories, so similar to that report that we saw earlier, just in more of a graph and dashboard format. And again, these can be built by just using an easy drag and drop interface. I'll show you the design here. And you see how we can just drag and drop items onto our dashboard and create our drop downs. These are all just very easy to build interfaces within the software itself. So just giving you a basic overview of MicroStrategy. What I'm going to show you now real quick is within our Excel format. I'm going to show you how we can, you see a report I've got already set up here, how you can link into MicroStrategy and pull in data that way. So I'm going to go into my MicroStrategy Office. So this is all through Excel. You can also take data and pull it right into your Excel view. So let's say I want to bring in brand performance by region. I'm going to go ahead and say right click and run report. So again, you saw the export to Excel within the MicroStrategy web. This is a way that allows you to directly import and pull data into your Microsoft Office environment on the fly. So I've run that report, and I'm not going to bring it in on top of what I've got here, but this is just an example of one of the reports that you can pull into MicroStrategy on the fly. So that's an overview of MicroStrategy, the desktop, the web, and MicroStrategy Office. Again, this is businessintelligencebase.com. Thank you.